Hey, this is your host of Jazz Cats, and I am just so excited. I say that all the time, but this gentleman, I am like so excited to have him here. The first time I had him scheduled, some situations happened and we weren't able to be here, so I am going to thank him now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jazz Cats, Armando Vega. How are you, darling?
I'm doing pretty good, Dawn. Thanks for having me present. It's an honor for me to be here.
Oh, no, trust me, the honor is
Yeah.
all mine. You guys should have heard kind of the sidebar conversation we were having,
Yeah.
before we came on air. So, again, welcome to Jazz Cats. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank you.
much for joining me tonight. And, like I said, we were kind of having a couple of sidebar conversations, one that I will not bring up. Um, but let's kind of talk about what brought you here to Detroit from Puerto Rico?
Well, it's interesting because I was born and raised here in Michigan. I've been in Michigan all my life.
Have you?
My
Okay.
parents are
Hmm.
from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
San Juan, Mayagüez, Lares. Those are little towns in an island.
Okay.
And they made it to here to the U.S. to Michigan in the early 70s.
Hmm.
Like late 60s, or yeah, late 60s, early 70s. Um, my mom, most of my mom's family made it here first.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
and then
Okay.
my dad came down and met my mom
Hmm.
because he was working through farming, and he
Really?
came from the
Okay.
island. Yeah, he
Hmm.
migrated from Puerto Rico and made it here. And at that time they were doing like working in the fields, you know,
Mm, okay.
and that's how he made it here. So,
Hmm.
but I was born and raised here. I've been here all my life.
Really?
Yeah, I attended all the public schools here,
Okay.
Earhart Middle School,
Hmm.
Western, Chadsey. Yeah.
Oh, you went to Chadsey. My
Yeah.
mom went to Chadsey. Graduated many moons ago. Rest well, mom. Um, so what do you like about Detroit? I know you're a musician, and this is kind of the mecca, for a lot of musicians. So what's special about Detroit to you?
Well, me growing up in Detroit, it's I've always had the music in me all my life. Ever since I was born, I was born with a set of maracas in my hands. But I always had my dad. My dad was a singer.
Hmm.
I got brothers in a family that are musicians. One is
Oh,
a
okay.
guitarist, another
Oh,
one's a
so
drummer.
so it was in your blood.
Yeah.
You had no choice.
But me growing up in Detroit, as a child, I it was tough for me because
Hmm.
I was surrounded by the American crowd. Okay, and I
Hmm.
always loved the Latin side of who I was and the music. But most of my friends were all American.
Okay.
Okay, went to
Hmm.
school. So um, in the household,
Hmm.
my parents used to get frustrated
Oh,
because
okay.
I never wanted to speak Spanish in the house. I always spoke English. Okay, it's
Okay.
funny how I have this accent because I have the accent when I speak, but
Right.
I always been around English speaking people.
Hmm.
So, anyways, as the time went on, and I got older,
Hmm.
what I like about Detroit and Michigan is that the opportunities that you have. Okay, you got many opportunities,
Yes.
and some people take advantage of them, some don't. And I found myself at an early age
Hmm.
when I got about 17.
Okay.
When I hit 17 years of age,
Hmm.
I started hanging out with a different crowd of people. Now I'm hanging out with older cats.
Okay.
So they're giving me all this advice, stay off the streets. And so
Life
they give me
advice.
good guidance.
Yes,
Good guidance.
life
But at the
advice.
same time, I always had the music in me.
Okay.
Okay. I started working at a young age in factories.
Mm,
And
okay.
I developed a skill trade of welding.
Did you
I'm a
really?
welder, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
Good to
I,
know.
yeah, so I got all my certs.
Okay.
I
Now,
work
are you
for-
still welding?
I'm still welding, yes.
Okay.
I'm still
Oh,
welding.
so I may have a project for you.
So yeah, so that's what I do besides music. That's what I do to pay my bills.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We all know that the music industry is not what many people think. When I first got in the music industry, I thought You know, it was I hit the jackpot.
Yes, yes.
But shortly in the music industry, I realized how it was,
The reality,
and it's
yeah,
the real deal. It's the real deal.
the reality check,
Yes.
you know, because I talk about that all the time. You know, me being a booking agent and artist manager. You know, seeing it on television, you think it's all glitz, glamour, partying, and once I got into it, it's like, oh crap, I gotta lug equipment.
Yes.
You know, I may have a cymbal case, I may have a bass on my back, an amp, some pedals. So after you kind of started in the music business and you saw that it wasn't the glitz and glamour that you may have thought, you know, I mean, you said the music was in you. Is that kind of why you stuck around? You know,
Well,
and didn't bail?
the reason why I stuck around here because I established a family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I met my wife Lisa in 1989.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I've been with her ever since. You know, we got married, and we created a family.
Yes.
You know, and the family grew. I started moving up in the company. You know, so opportunities were getting good for me. So there was no reason for me to leave.
Right. Okay.
At this time, I wasn't fully involved with the music. I had the music in me, and I participated with other groups, but I wasn't fully in.
Got you.
The music
Okay.
until I created the first project. I got involved in my first project, which is with the 313 Orchestra. That was my first project. For that project, I learned so much, you know.
Wow.
And within time, that could be another topic we could talk about the 313 Orchestra.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I that's one of the reasons why I stood here because of family reasons. You know, I got a good family. I got a lot of support with the family. You know.
Yes.
And there was no reason for me to leave. You know.
And that musical family is huge.
Yes.
And everything. You know, and I had the pleasure of meeting you through a referral from our dear friend Greg Greco Freeman. Rest your soul, baby doll. You're so missed. And as I can remember when I had reached out to him, I think I was doing a couple of bookings for the Jazz on the Water at Roberts Riverwalk.
Yes.
And so I reached out to him. He's like, Dawn, I'm not performing anymore. You know, I've been kind of sick. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he said, you know, here's Armando's information. And I'm like, Armando? I'm like, who is that? You know, so I'm thinking if Greg is referring, this person's got to be dynamic, you know, because those are some pretty big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
You know.
Greco is a special person, you know, and God rest his soul. He's truly missed.
Yes, he is.
Every time I perform with LL7, it doesn't cross my mind that I think about Greco.
Yes.
Because, you know,
I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, the opportunity that he gave me, the recommendation, you know, and he's truly missed, you know, and he served a lot. While he's alive, he served a lot for me because he played the role like a brother, you know, a father, an uncle, a best friend.
Yes.
And we spoke about many things, you know, and he's a very, 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 very good and well-missed person.
Yes, he is. Yeah, we were talking, you know, kind of off mic earlier, and, you know, a couple of videos popped up, I want to say yesterday, from some memories, you know, from when he, you know, played down at Burt's. Yeah. And I think he played with Gaylen McKinney, I believe. And
he knew a lot of people.
Yeah, he did. And, you know, then like I said, the last time I saw him was at Brandon Williams' CD release party out at the M1 Concourse. And he kind of shocked everybody. Because, of course, nobody knew he was coming. You know, we all knew he wasn't well.
Yeah.
And so me and a group of my friends, you know, we walk in and we see Greg. And I start crying. I'm like, oh, my God, because I hadn't seen him in a while. And, you know, I was like stuck to him like glue almost that whole night, you know. And, you know, when I found out he had passed away, I'm like, you know, the music scene is just not going to be the same.
When I met Greco when I was performing with a group called Grupo Salvaje. Now, Grupo Salvaje is a group that was formed by Eddie Caraballo and I. And at that time, we were young, you know, and Eddie had a vision, I had a vision. And we decided to form a group together called Grupo Salvaje. So we had a bunch of friends at this time that would stick around. They were musicians. They were always around, you know. And you know how hard it is to find musicians? So these guys were always around. So we decided to have our own hangout. So we had our own man cave. You know, they would come over to my house. We had I had my man cave. They would come to the basement. And we would just jam it out.
Okay.
So Grupo Salvaje was formed. In Grupo Salvaje, we did all types of music: bachata, merengue, salsa, cumbia. You know, we did all varieties. And the group was real popular, like in the mid in the mid '90s. The
Okay.
group was very
Okay.
popular.
And now, are there any recordings of your performances
We didn't
around?
do no professional recordings, but we did some, underground stuff.
Okay.
As we speak, I'm pretty sure Eddie has some of those recordings. But yes, we did a couple of tracks, and they were cover tunes,
Okay.
cover tunes, and the group was popular, But as we got older, some of the
Sure.
branched off. I had other plans. Eddie had
Yes.
plans. Our family were growing, so and it reached to its peak, and then
Okay.
we had to let it
fell
go.
off, right?
But Eddie still controls Grupo Salvaje because he has
okay.
all the music to that.
Nice.
Towards the end, he was the one that owned the group. So that's how I met Greco
Wow.
through that group. And I remember when he first came
nice.
in, we clicked off the rip.
Right.
We clicked.
Yeah.
And we've been like that since. So
Right.
by his passing, it really touched everybody. It did.
Oh yes, yes, it did. I mean, I had the pleasure, of working with him a couple of times, and he was tough. He was a tough businessman when he came to to his music.
Yeah.
And there's one event he did, and I'll never forget. We met at the Starbucks in Southfield on Telegraph near 12 Mile, and he fussed at me the whole time. He was like, "Dawn, this money is lousy, but I'm only doing it because of you." And that kind of touched me. I'm like, do I have that kind of influence? Thank you. But he just fussed even the evening of the performance. Where's the money? I'm like, I'm going to get it right now. He's like, I'm never doing this again. I only did it for you, Dawn. And I'm grateful, and thankful to him, for doing that and introducing us. Because you're stuck with me for life now, so it's all good. So now let's talk about LL7. I'm trying to think. I think the first time I saw LL7 was at Baker's. And
I believe so, yes.
It was at Baker's. And, I kept hearing people talk about LL7. I'm like, okay, I'm going. Or when I would ride by Baker's, I would see LL7 on the marquee, and there would be not one space in the lot. Up and down Livernois, cars were parked. And I'm like, I have got to see what this LL7 group is all about. So when I went one evening, and I'm thinking, I've never seen this many musicians on stage, at one performance, unless it was like on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
Let's kind of talk about that dynamic, working with that many, musicians. I would imagine it's a brotherhood now, or was it always a brotherhood in the beginning?
Well, I want to say it was always a brotherhood from the beginning.
Okay.
And the way it was set up, the way I was introduced to L7, it was like a preparation. It wasn't. I just got introduced to L7, and boom, the magic happened. It wasn't like that. It was communication.
Okay.
A couple rehearsals. I attended with Greco. Greco was the one that set this up.
Oh, great. Okay.
And he was the one that would talk to me about L7. But at that time, when Greco used to talk to me, I was in the process of doing my project already.
Oh,
so my
okay.
mind was set somewhere else. So he was talking to me, and he would tell me, "Man, you got to see these guys. These guys, they're amazing. I think they have what you need." And I would be like, "No, Greco, I'm good, I'm good." And I just kept on
Keep doing your thing.
And after the time went by, he never gave up. He never gave up.
Good, thank you.
And we just kept on talking and talking. And after I did the project, and after I explored, and I seen what I needed to see,
Yes.
then I came down this cloud. I came back home. I came back home. Now I'm back to reality now.
Yes.
Now I'm seeing things a little different. So Greco approaches me again with the L7.
Oh,
so
he wasn't going to give up.
Yeah, so I go to a rehearsal with them, and that's how I met the guys. The first rehearsal, I sat in as a bongo player because I play timbal, conga, bongo. Back in the days, they would call me to play bass. A little bit of keyboard, yeah. I did trombone in school, yeah. So I'm
bass
pretty
and
much
keyboard.
Yeah. So
oh my goodness.
So I'm not a professional at it, but I'm good at what I do. I'm satisfied with how I do it. And he never gave up. So I attended rehearsals with them. We got in, we locked in, And then shortly, when he knew, when Greco knew his status, and then he talked to me.
Okay.
Okay. But he didn't tell me. See, this is God works. God works in such ways to where,
Yes.
you know, if you don't see it, it's a problem. You know, because he can put stuff right there in front of you.
Yes.
And you could just miss it.
Timing is everything,
so
though.
He told me about LL7 that he was gonna take a break.
Yes.
But I felt it. I felt it in my heart. I felt it in my heart. And I had to ask him, Greco, something
What's
ain't
going
right.
on? Yeah.
Something ain't right. No, everything good. So he called it quits. When he decided to call it quits, he told me that his status, you know.
Yes.
And it got to me so I told him, you know what? I got you, bro. I got you.
Yes.
You know, tell me what you want me to do. Tell me what you need.
Yes.
And his biggest thing was that I joined LL7.
Ooh,
And that's how I got involved with the group. And ever since then, I've been loyal to the guys, you know.
Yes.
I've been loyal.
Great group of guys too.
Yeah, very good guys. You know, they're older cats. You know, I'm still the youngest one of the group.
Okay.
But they're very, very good guys, and I'm loyal to them, and I appreciate everything they do. You know, we create good music together.
Yes, you do, and I'm like overdue seeing you guys. You know, because COVID just shut everything down, so I'm long overdue.
Yeah.
You know, to come and check you guys out. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Wjzz Cats on Wjzz Cool TV. We are streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Twitch. So check us out, and you already know, like, share, comment, and most definitely subscribe. I am your host, Dawn Elizabeth, and I just started using my middle name last week, actually. No, 2 weeks ago. Just like Dawn. I'm like, no, let me use my middle name. And I was talking to, I think it was the gentleman, Lance Gully, the young gentleman I had on a couple weeks ago. One of my neighbors, Mrs. Cook, God rest her soul, she would call me by my full government name, Dawn Elizabeth Webb. And I could be running up and down the street, and she would call me, and I would freeze. And I'm like, okay, I'm about to die. Mrs. Cook is calling me. What did I do? And I thought about her, and I'm like, I'm going to just start using Dawn Elizabeth. So that's what I'm using. Everybody, you are tuning in with my buddy, my good dear friend, Armando Vega. I want to thank you again so much for coming to hang out with me. You know, I know the first time we tried it, life just didn't work that particular time, but I'm so glad you are here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, and and this we were just talking about LL7. So where can we see LL7?
Well, LL7, we're gonna be at the Blue Llama coming up, I believe the 8th in October.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe October 8th. I gotta check my calendar. Sometimes I got so many gigs booked up.
Yes.
And
the 8th is a Friday.
Yeah, no. It's coming up now on 23rd. Yeah, it's coming up on the 29th.
Oh, 29th. Okay. Oh, September 29th.
Yeah,
okay.
29th.
Okay.
And then I also have Blue Llama coming up on the 6th. The 29th or 6th has got to be LL7.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me correct that, okay? I don't want to. The 29th, I'm at Blue Llama, and the 6th. I want to say the 6th is LL7.
LL7. Okay. Perfect.
Yes. The 29th, I'm going to be at the Blue Llama with Tumbao Bravo, Paul Vornhagen.
I think I saw that today.
Yeah, with Paul Vornhagen. That's another group that I've been kicking it with. And Paul's a very great musician, man. I worked with Paul in the past. We did 6 years straight sangrias every Sunday.
Wow. Okay.
And it was tumbao salsa we had. Tumbao salsa. And, the group was very popular there at Sangrias. We were there every Sunday. And, like anything, what goes up must come down. So,
yes.
but yeah, I'm with Tumbao. I gigged 2 weeks ago with Alberto Nasiva Guanco. I was at the Blue Llama.
Okay.
I know Alberto Nasiva. They also do Latin jazz. So very, very good group of guys. So I've been around pretty much in the scene, but I'm still working on new works.
Nice,
You know,
beautiful.
I did the
Okay.
313. Then I did a single. My mother passed away 2019
Sorry to
in
hear
December,
that.
and
Okay.
and it was hard for all of us, you know,
Yes.
and I was real close to my mom, you know, and
Yes.
when that happened, it affected me. Well, I had to go to work, you know. It's kind of difficult to go to
Yes.
work and have this on your mind.
Exactly. Yes.
So what I did was, while I was at work, I wrote a song. I wrote a song for my mom, and
Okay.
I was able to produce it with Chino Nunez. Chino Nunez is a producer, award winner, arranger. He's been around since Celia Cruz, Rey Barreto,
Wow.
Hector Lavoe. You know, he traveled a lot with Spanish Harlem Orchestra. So
Ooh.
I've had the
Wow.
honor to connect
Yeah.
with Chino, and we're like, you know, real close.
Beautiful. Okay.
And he produced this track. In fact, I have my mom. My mom's actually with me all the time.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, and
yeah.
God rest her soul. And
Yes.
you know, and ever since that, I've been having blessings. You know, I know she's
Beautiful.
up there looking
Yes.
after me,
Oh yeah.
and doors are opening. You know, now that this COVID's coming off, and hopefully
Yes.
it stays gone. You know,
Yes. Yes.
and we could be clear of everything. A lot of stuff's gonna open up. You know, and we're gonna
Yes.
get back to normal.
Right. So I already know, of course, COVID just wiped out the music world
Yes.
last year. And, you know, I was losing my mind, you know, because friends were calling me, Dawn, are you okay? I'm like, no, because last year, you know, I lost my mom and two aunts, you know, kind of all within 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
And so during that time, I had gotten laid off, you know, so all of this is just compounding. And, you know, and then I had spiraled, you know, into this humongous weight loss. So I've lost, you know, like 50 something pounds since last year. In the beginning, I wasn't trying, but then I'm like, I'm not eating. So then it just kept dropping, then it wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got to get to the
Something's not
doctor.
right, yeah.
So made it to the doctor. They diagnosed me with Graves' disease, and it was triggered by stress.
Wow.
And so, of course, how I brought the stress down was music. You know, I had to have music piping through the house,
Yeah.
you know, constantly. So with COVID and the music, how did you kind of survive, you know, during that time?
It was difficult, you know, because I would get phone calls from other musicians, you know, desperate, you know,
Yes.
they're desperate, and then a lot of them went into depression, you know,
Yes.
and it's something that as musicians we kept the communication, you know, in the circle, and we kept on talking to each other, and but it was difficult. I at the early stages I got diagnosed with COVID.
Did you?
I got COVID in the early stages, yeah.
Oh dear.
And it's sort of I thank God that I didn't make it to the hospital.
Yes,
My
thank God
wife
for that.
and my kids were very concerned, you know, so I had the support. I overcame it,
Yes, thank goodness.
and it was just a waiting game, you know, just
Yes.
waiting to see what's going to happen because we want to get back on track and us being
Yes.
musicians.
Yes.
And meanwhile, while all this is going on, that was the time that I took to write the song and did the song for my mom. And in my house, I got my own little personal studio at my
Okay,
house.
great.
So I do all my samplings before I send them out. I do all my samplings and all my other ideas. I put them on record and send them out to whoever's going to do the transcription, and,
Yes.
and then they start recording it with professional cats.
Wow.
Okay, so
Okay.
so that's what I did. I try to stay in the studio and just play music
For some
and
sanity.
yeah,
Yes.
you know, and just keep myself occupied and you know, and being involved with the family, the grandkids.
Yes.
I'm a grandfather of two.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and,
how old are the babies?
One is I believe going on two, and the other one is 5, close to 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Armani Vega and Helena Marie.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
And they changed me and my wife. They changed our life. You know, they
Yes.
come over. And it's just lovely
Oh,
to
the
see
sky
them.
is the limit with the grandkids.
Yeah, it's lovely to see the kids, and so we stay occupied with that, and that's how we got through this pandemic, through all this stuff, music and the family, and just trying to stay positive because there's nothing else,
Right.
and thanking God for every day that He gives us every day.
Yes, amen to that one.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're gonna get to preaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how motivating are the grandchildren with you and your music?
Well,
or has it happened yet?
Not yet, but it's starting to.
Okay.
It's starting to. My oldest Armando, Helena Marie, that's his daughter, Helena Marie, and my youngest Anthony, he has Armani.
Okay.
So, Alina starts to show signs now where she shows others my videos, her friends my videos.
No.
Yeah, she'll tell her mom what she learned, But she's a little shy. When she's with us, she's a little shy. But when she goes home,
it's a different
she's
story.
a different story.
Oh yeah.
So
yes.
I truly believe within time they'll pick it up. It's something that it's gonna, if it's in you, it's in you.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't want to find myself as a grandparent forcing forcing them to play the right note
or sing the right note.
I think
yes.
If me being an example, it's gonna allow.
And making it fun.
Yeah.
Because I talk to when I talk to all of the musicians, especially the younger ones, and I'm gonna go back to my buddy Lance. He was on with me a couple weeks ago, and so I know a lot of parents. You've got to find you a 30-year job.
Yeah.
This music is not gonna.
Yes.
Pay. It's not gonna pay your bills, and so I did ask him. I said, so how did you kind of get past your parents to pursue this career of being a professional musician? And he said, I just told them, no, I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, you told your parents no? But they respect him for that.
Yeah.
So kids or grandkids, if they came to you and wanted to pursue a professional career, in music, what would you tell them?
I wouldn't give them the negative side of it. I'll try to be as positive as I can. But let them know that they will need a plan B.
Okay.
Don't give up your dream. I never gave my dream up. I was born here, raised here.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm still finding that so hard to believe.
And listen to this. I never liked speaking Spanish in the house.
Yes.
English. Okay, that's fine. So, as I got older, and I started hitting the streets now, hanging out with older cats, my Spanish wasn't correct.
Oh.
Okay, so now I find myself
Yeah.
learning the correct way to speak Spanish.
So, what was your hesitation for not speaking it at home? Because I would think maybe you may not have wanted to speak it in front of your friends.
This is so good. You bring this up.
See, but no. Only reason I say that is because I have a couple of cousins who were born, and part of their life they were raised in Africa. So my younger cousin, when they came here to the States, of course, culture shock. And I can remember him saying that because he was always quiet growing up, and I would always ask my mom, what is wrong with him? He's not talking. And so the older he got, of course he started opening up more, but he finally had told me many, many moons ago the reason he didn't speak is because kids in school teased him about his accent coming from Africa. So he got over that. So he's a chatterbox now. Yeah. But so I was just thinking about that when we were talking a little earlier. You didn't want to speak Spanish at home. And I thought maybe you didn't want to speak it in front of your friends, but would do it at home. So what was that hesitation or that reservation for not wanting to speak it at home?
This is interesting.
Okay.
This is the topic. I want to say that you touched a nerve.
Okay.
Okay. Growing up in a household, I didn't grow up with my real dad.
Okay.
I grew up with a stepdad. And my stepdad was real violent.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Speaking for me, my brothers, sisters, we went through a lot of abuse.
Oh dear. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that's
No,
awful.
it's good. It's good.
That's
It's good that I
awful.
let this out.
Okay. Okay.
So I didn't find a conversation in the house pleasing.
Okay. Makes sense.
I didn't want to talk. You know. So when I was with my friends, that was the only good time that I had.
Wow.
Because I knew once we get back home, the
hell was gonna
discipline,
break loose.
the discipline, and then we couldn't say nothing to show because there was always a negativity towards it. Now at the same time, my stepdad was also a singer. He was a musician. Okay, but the life he chose wasn't the life that I seen for me.
Correct. Yes.
You know, he was alcoholic, and you know all the abuse. That's not what
that
I
wasn't the life you saw for yourself.
Yes. So I left my home at an early age. At an early age, my life took a whole different. So that's when I started hanging out with older guys.
Okay.
So now my friends that we had in school, we parted. Many of them I didn't see them. It's years passed, and so I got new friends, and most of my new friends now are adults.
Right.
So now they're telling me, you need to speak this. So now I'm learning.
Okay.
Okay. And when I turned 18, 19, I joined my first salsa band. It was with Orquesta Caché, with Diego Melendez and Orquesta Caché. That was the first band that I joined. Prior to that, I used to go to church also.
Okay.
I used to go to church. I used to be involved with the groups in church. They had little congregations. They had music, and we had friends there, but I only seen them in church.
Oh,
they wasn't going to the
they
same
weren't-
school
okay,
I was going.
sure.
So I only seen them in church. So for a while I was involved with that, and I picked up more of my trade of playing and learning. But there was no schools here to teach me the Latin. When I was in school, it was all about jazz. That's how I knew about jazz.
Really?
Yeah, because in school, I would see all these musicians and their phrasing,
Right.
and like, man, and that just drew my attention,
Wow.
So that's how I picked up the trombone. I wanted to learn
Nice,
trombone,
okay.
and I learned how to read the trombone a little bit, but I was so young, I wanted to do everything. So,
Right.
Going back, after all that was over, I joined. I got adult friends now. I met my wife, Lisa. I met Lisa for the first time. And now I'm young, Now I'm in the streets. Now I'm living the life. And I'm just... So I meet Diego Melendez and Orquesta Caché. That was a 12, 13-piece orchestra. At this time, back in the day, they used to bring Hart Plaza. Used to be open. They used to bring bands down.
Yes,
I
every
remember.
Friday. Yes.
And he performed there multiple times.
Wow. Okay.
So, I never thought that I would join his band. Because I seen the band,
Right.
So I got a friend of mine that knew him, and that's how I ended up with Caché.
Wow. Okay.
So I always wanted I was on bass. I always wanted to sing, but they never gave me the opportunity because my Spanish wasn't right.
Wow.
My Spanish, it was so. When I realized that my Spanish wasn't right, I always wanted to sing. I always wanted to sing.
Okay.
So now I'm studying all these singers now. The phrasing. So there's certain phrases.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
When you sing, as a salsero, there's phrases, and I had to learn all these phrasings and all these slangs, And when I started using them, they would make fun of me. No. My friends make fun of me when I started. No, you can't say that.
Oh wow.
No, but it sounds good,
Okay.
So it's just developed as I and then what changed for me was when I came in contact with Germán Olivera. Germán Olivera is the lead singer to Eddie Palmieri. And he sang with many other bands. He got so many recordings. So I met him when Eddie Palmieri came to the Concert of Colors.
Wow, yes.
Through Wjzz Rivera. You know who Wjzz Rivera is?
I know that name.
La Inspiración.
Okay.
Yup. He used to have Consuela Lopez sing.
Yes.
So I met Eddie Palmieri and Germán. So Germán takes me to the room, and we chat,
Wow.
And now this guy, his Spanish is correct.
Wow.
It's correct.
Okay.
So now I'm scared to even say the first word.
Exactly.
I'm scared.
That's an intimidation fact right there.
He asked me, one of the main things he asked me, do I read Spanish? He goes, Do you read Spanish? He's got that New York accent.
Yes.
You read Spanish? I'm like, a little bit. He goes, you need to read. Read every day. Read your pronunciations. You know, like us, we got A-E-I-O-U, you know, I-A-E-O-U for Spanish. You know, it's the same pronounce the R's. You know, it's learning how to pronounce. And I didn't have that very well.
So you have to pick that up in the singing as well?
Yes, when you're singing. Yes, when you're singing is more important.
Oh, yes. Okay.
When you're singing, because, you know, it's got to be correct. You know, it's got to be certain words. You know, they sound nice, but that's not the way you say it, you know? And I was caught up in that. Saying words the wrong way, too.
Yes.
You know?
Okay.
What's the mean? That's not how you say that, you know? And I had a lot of corrections with friends, you know? I remember my partner from the 313, Hector, he would tell me all the time. He would always tell me, no, you say like this, you know?
Okay.
That's not how you say that. So he'd give me a lot of... And as the years went on, I developed that. Now, when I sing Spanish, I try to be as clear as I can, you know, pronounce as good as I can.
Yes.
Because you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching.
Exactly.
You know, so I went from speaking English very well to now speaking Spanish very well. And my English is not. My English can have a twist to it.
Got you.
So it's crazy.
So now, did you teach your children?
Yes.
The Spanish language.
Yes. Okay. At that time, the grandparents, you know, my wife, her mom and dad, they watch their kids a lot. Okay. So they speak Spanish all the time in their house. So
nice. Okay.
At a young age, they understood. They speak it now. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Now, are there musicians out of your children?
Out all of them, they have it in them. But my daughter, she's very talented. You know. Okay. She's very young. She used to perform with me a couple times, you know. Okay. And then as she got older, you know how the adolescence life, and, you know, she got visions. Yes. So you know, I'm letting her explore.
Yes, absolutely.
And but she knows that anytime she wants to come back, the doors are open and the opportunities they're there. You know, I always tell her, you know, you don't know you're missing a good opportunity because. All the hard work that I've done to open these doors, you don't got to go through that hard work.
Right. Yes.
The door's already open. You just got to come along and just let's do this.
Right. Yes.
But she has a vision. She has a way she wants to live her life a little bit. So you know, I respect that. Okay. And but yeah, she's out of all my children. I got 4 kids. Okay. 3 boys and 1 girl. 3 boys and 1 girl. The oldest is I want to say 29, 30, and the youngest is 23. Okay. Yeah, 22, 23 is like that.
Oh, poor girl.
And but yes, I got 4 kids, and they're very smart kids, loving kids, very respectful kids. I can't ask for any better.
Beautiful. Yeah. And another part of your life that I discovered, the dogs. Oh, you know, and I know, of course, musicians, they have multiple, you know, things that they love to explore. How did you get involved with the puppies? Well, they are so beautiful, and they're like the muscles. Yeah. When I see pictures, I'm like, oh, I mean, but they're babies, but they are just so. Talk about that. How did that start?
Well, I've always been a dog lover. I have an older brother. And speaking on that side, it's 9 of us all together.
9. Okay.
Okay. With my biological dad and my mom, is 4 of us. And with my dad and somebody else, it's 5 more.
Wow. Okay.
So so it's 3 sisters and 6.
Wow.
And 6.
Okay.
So my older brother, Pete, was always into dogs. So every time we went over there, if he was young, I was always he was the one I always looked up to. No. My older brother, Pete. So when we wasn't doing much, like for the summer, we would hang out and there, because they lived in Hamtramck. And we would go a lot over there for the summer, you know, for when school was out. Yes. And he was always into dogs, you know, and that's how I got involved. And forever, I just always had dogs. Now, this is a new generation of dogs, because pit bulls been around for years. Yes. And pit bulls developed a bad reputation to where
they have
not too many insurances want to deal with you if you have a home.
Exactly. Yes.
And if they do, it's very high. It's costly because of pit bull. So you got breeders that they care for the animal, so they change the concept of the dog. And one of the originators is Ed Shepherd. He created the bullies. That's what they're called, American bullies.
American bullies.
Yeah.
Okay.
They even opened up a new registry for the dogs. It's not UKC, it's ABKC, ADBA, all the registries. But what they did was they crossbred with a American bulldog and a terrier, and added some other stuff in between, and they came up with the American bully. Now what this does, this makes the dog short and compact, muscular, very good temperament. The dog has very good temperament. Yeah. Most of them is rarely you're gonna have trouble with them fighting or showing aggressiveness towards kids. Or no, that's they took that away.
Wow.
So they're still modifying the breed. The breed's been around for almost 25 years.
Wow.
The breed, yeah. So my cousin breeds them.
Nice.
And it took me 4 years to buy a dog from him. And let me say, you know, out of all the dogs I've had, they're costly. And they're very high maintenance.
Are they?
Yeah, so who's ever watching live and those that are interested in getting a bully, do the research. Please do the research, because these dogs, they're very costly. They're high maintenance. And it's just not your typical dog.
How are they high maintenance?
They go through a lot of allergies.
Got you.
You got to watch what you feed them, because anything can break them out. It's just their balance got to be. You got to figure the dog's balance out. You know, not every dog has the same.
Same temperament.
And we have at our house we have 4 dogs, 4 or 5 dogs. Yeah, and they're all trained. They got their schedules. My wife does an amazing job. She's the one that helps out every day.
Okay.
They got their schedule when they go out, when they eat. And they're very, very smart dogs. You know, I have no trouble. I let them out all at one shot. I don't gotta watch them from. Everything is just lovely. You know, and I love my animals. I love my animals.
So, question with the dogs: is there any musical motivation? I know there's things in life that motivate musicians to write music. Do your dogs do that for you?
No, I never felt it that way.
Okay.
I've never thought about that. I've had friends that told me, you ought to write a song about your dogs, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, probably someday. But no, I never felt motivated to write because I just love the dogs. You know, I look at them as part of the family. You know.
Yes.
You know, and it's just getting up every day and looking at them. You know, it makes my day. You know.
Yes.
Coming home from work. You know, it's just one of those. I think music is just a course by itself. Yeah, it runs in my blood. And it's just something that I was born with. You know.
Yes.
Like I said, I've been in schools here. There's no schools here to teach you what's a guaguancó, what's a 3-2 clave, what's a 4-4 clave. It's kind of hard to find schools, and right now they don't have music in schools, I believe.
Yeah, it's a lot of schools that they have removed the music program, and it makes me ill.
Yeah, I remember going back to school back in the days. They had summer programs.
Yes,
and they would we would do shows at Shane Park, at Belle Isle. And then I was going for the summer. I would attend over here by West Grand Boulevard by Henry Ford. Is that Northwestern?
I think it is. Yes.
Yes. So the summer, for 2 summers in a row, I was going to that school. I was the only Latino in that school. I swear. I was the only Latino in that school, and I got along with everybody. Everybody got along with me. And at that time, I was doing drums. I was playing drums.
Wow.
And again, I would go to school because I want to get away from home.
Okay, sure.
And I would go to the summer programs. But when I was going to school, my grades wasn't all that good.
Okay.
I had to get counseling because you know, I was using school time to be away from home.
Sure.
You know, so it wasn't the combination wasn't right. And I had to shape myself up and jump a couple grades up. And then you know, my life just took course.
Right.
You know, took course, and it led from one thing to another. But yeah, I mean, music is something that is going to be in me forever. You know, I'm in the process of creating new music. For those that want to find out more about me, they can catch me on iTunes, CD Baby, Spotify, Armando Vega.
Okay.
On Facebook, Armando Vega. You can find me also on Instagram, _sonero on Instagrams. If you want to find out about the dogs on Instagram, it's Vegas Cats Bullies.
Yes.
But you can find me there, you know, and I'll link on my page on my Facebook and Instagram. What's the next coming shows coming up? So don't know what's going on.
And share that with me. I may try to come the end of the month to Blue Llama. I haven't been this year yet. No, I haven't. And that was like my second home for a long time. Going up there just about every weekend. Food is amazing at the Blue Llama.
On a higher note, I'm working on booking my band, on the Blue Llama for December 8th.
December 8th.
Yeah. Now,
okay.
Most of the stuff that I do is pretty much hardcore salsa. So I'm gonna be bringing some salsa to the Blue Llama.
Ooh.
So I'll be posting that up.
Okay.
And then I've been blessed to be on board on the salsa cruise coming up in October, the end of October, coming up to October 24th up to November 1st.
Wow.
I'll be on a salsa cruise. I'll be kicking it with some of the major groups, some Grupo Nietzsche, Diego Gale, Chino Nunez, Milo Ruiz. There's gonna be so many artists there. Luisito Carrion. And these are musicians that I grew up listening to. Musicians that
that's gonna be amazing.
And I'm gonna be with these guys now for 8 days. You know, it could be a lot that I'm gonna learn and talk about.
Yes.
So I know when I come back, I'm gonna be heartbroken but motivated at the same time.
Exactly.
Because this is it's like a journey, you know. All the hard work. And everything you do, when you see it paying off. It's a blessing, you know, and I can only thank the man upstairs because without him, you know, none of this is possible. So
absolutely. Well, I know that cruise is gonna be just beyond amazing.
Yes.
Are we gonna see some video of you out on the dance floor?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll probably do a little bit of John Travolta, a little something going on. I'll do a little something. But it's all about having a good time. You know, I'm gonna be with my wife. She's gonna love it as well.
Yes.
And we're gonna explore. We're gonna make this a trip to remember, you know.
Absolutely.
Because tomorrow's not promised, you know. Tomorrow's not promised, so you gotta enjoy.
Yes.
But this is gonna be amazing to be with these cats, and I'll be able to share with others what I learned on this trip.
So now, when can we expect a new record from you?
Well, I'm in the process of doing singles.
Okay.
As of doing a complete album, it might be a while. But I'm working on doing singles. After I come back from this trip from the salsa cruise, I'm gonna be working pretty much sending the files out to start working on that, to get them done, to get them recorded. So by if not by the end of this year, I want to say beginning of next year, I want to come out with a bang. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'll be on the lookout for that, to check the music out, and you know, whatever shows you're doing, you know, I will push and promote.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
On my Facebook page, my 3 pages on Facebook, and my Instagram.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You know, everything's starting to open up. It's picking up. Like I said, LL7 got on the calendar. I got a couple gigs booked up. I got with Tumbao a couple gigs booked up. I also got I'm not sure if you ever heard of Urban Tropical with Alina Moore.
Tropical, I have not.
Yeah, well they got a good lineup. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there December on November 10th.
November 10th.
At the Blue Llama with Urban Tropical. This group is pretty fresh. It's they got a good lineup. They do a lot of Rey Barreto stuff, you know, a lot of Afro-Cuban jazz. Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's good stuff. And I'm doing vocals and congas with them.
Nice. November 10th?
November 10th
Blue Llama.
at the Blue Llama with Urban Tropical.
Okay. You heard it here. Blue Llama, it looks like it's his home now, which is a beautiful thing. If you've never been to Blue Llama, it's amazing. Don Hicks and Dave up there, excellent people, staff, very phenomenal. And the food is spectacular.
Yes, it is.
The food is spectacular. So if you have not checked out Blue Llama, do so. Downtown Ann Arbor on Main Street, I do believe.
On Main Street, yes.
Yep, right next to the Ark. Is the Ark still there? I think it is.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it is.
Okay.
But it's a nice place.
Yes.
It's a very nice place to go have a good meal.
Mm-hmm.
Go with your spouse, girlfriend.
Great music.
Good music, yeah.
Yeah, I usually go by myself, so which is all right. Armando, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I
Don.
appreciate you being able to come and hang out on Jazz Cats with me.
Likewise.
And we will do a part 2.
Yes.
Yes, we will.
In part 2, we'll get more details of what's going on with Armando Vega and more about the 313.
Yes.
And some other topics that we didn't touch up on this episode.
Correct. So stay tuned for part 2, everybody. Peace out. Have a good night.